Hi everybody, I'm Andrea and welcome to my booktube channel. Today I really wanted to talk about 21 books that I'm super excited for in 2021, even though it's literally March. But let me know if any of these books are on your list, and I'd love to know what books you're looking forward to. Number 1 on my list is Remote Control by Nandi Okorafor. This book's already out. It came out in January, but it is an Afrofuturist novella set in Ghana in a parallel near future. So an alien artifact turns this young girl into Dad's adopted daughter, basically, and it's a book that's really centered around female empowerment and community. And I've been really meaning to read more Afrofuturism, and I am a fan of Okorafor's writing. I really enjoy the Binti series. If you haven't already checked that out, definitely do. So this is one that's on my list. Number 2 is Le Maya Kitsaji, Our Maya World, Poetics, Resistance in Guatemala by Milkimi. This is more of an academic text, but I was incredibly interested in the synopsis for this one. So it analyzes poetic works written by 10 contemporary Maya writers from 5 different Maya nations in Guatemala. And in this book, the writer explores how indigenous Maya poetics carry out various processes of decolonization, and especially how Maya literature offers diverse and heterogeneous perspectives about what it means to be Maya in the contemporary world. And I have all my notes written on here, if that's why I keep looking down. Number 3 is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dahlia Harris. So the comps for this one are Get Out meets The Devil Meets Prada, which are both films that I really enjoy and love, so that definitely piqued my interest. So this book is about 2 young black women who meet against a very white backdrop of publishing and the tensions that kind of rise from that. It's described as funny, witty, and a relatable social commentary for anyone who has ever felt manipulated, threatened, or overlooked in the workplace. Number 4 is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. It's another author whose writing I really enjoy. Plus, I'm in this giant horror mood lately. This book follows Jade, who has an encyclopedic knowledge of horror films, and she lives in a small town in the US, but it's very quickly beginning to get gentrified, and soon she finds herself in her own kind of spooky movie of sorts. This book is described as a biting critique of American colonialism, indigenous displacement, and gentrification, and I recently got an ARC for this, and I'm so excited to dive into it. Number 5 is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. So first of all, this cover is absolutely stunning. It's a YA book that follows C, who mysteriously woke up in an island 3 years ago. She has no memories. She only has an old android and one single old memory, and that's just, she has to find her sister. And this is described as We Were Liars with a sci-fi twist, and Lost if it had a good ending, which I think is hilarious. It also follows Casey, who wants to escape from science and home that she once trusted. I hope that wind is not getting picked up. Okay, the wind slightly calmed down. So number 6 is Sorrowland by River Solomon. 7 months pregnant Vern decides to escape the strict religious compound where she was born and raised in. She gives birth to twins in the woods, but the struggle is not over for her and her tiny little family, as they kind of have to fight for the future by confronting the past. We had to move a little bit halfway through that. The wind was getting way too strong, so sorry about that scenery change. But anyway, number 7 is Velvet Was a Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I'm a really big Silvia Moreno Garcia fan, and that is no surprise if you've been on my channel for any period of time, to be honest. But this book is a noir and takes place in 1970s Mexico City, and it's a noir that follows Maite, who is this secretary who's just this giant daydreamer and who just loves romance novels, by the way, and Elvis, who is kind of this very eccentric criminal who's obsessed with old school rock and roll and old movies as well. And they kind of meet against this backdrop of the political unrest that was going on at the time and student protests, and I'm really interested to see what she does, especially in this time period, which is so influential and so horrifying and violent in recent Mexican history. Number 8 on my list is A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcy Little Badger. This does not have a release date set in stone, I believe, or at the time of recording this at least, but it's influenced by traditional Lipan Apache storytelling structure, and this YA novel features a girl from Earth and a cottonmouth kid from the land of spirits and monsters who agree to help each other and save each other's families. Number 9 is Like Home. This is a debut novel about a girl whose life is turned upside down after one local act of vandalism throws her relationships and even her neighborhood into turmoil. I want to get my hands on it soon. Number 10, talking about beautiful covers. This cover is absolutely stunning, and that is For Nothing by Black & Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. And it's like kind of described as this creepy haunted house fairy tale of sorts, and it's steeped in Japanese folklore and full of devastating twists. A Heian-era mansion stands abandoned in its foundations, resting on the bones of a bride, and its walls are packed with the remains of girls sacrificed to keep her company. So of course, it's the perfect wedding venue for a group of thrill-seeking friends. I also got this arc. This arc is available on NetGalley if anybody wants to request it. Do that now. Number 11 is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia M. Manansala. And it's about Lila Macapagal, who moves back home to recover from a horrible breakup. And she is put in charge of saving her Tita Rosie's failing restaurant. And when a food critic, who happens to be an ex-boyfriend, drops dead after a confrontation, Lila suddenly finds herself in the middle of a murder mystery case and as a suspect herself. Number 12 is The Marvelous Mirza Girls. So after the death of her aunt Sonia, Noreen is ready to take a gap year and follow her mom on a trip to New Delhi. There she meets Kabir, who helps her rediscover herself, and is kind of described as a teen facing family expectations, relationship complications, and hidden secrets in a new country. And of course, it's with her dealing with the grief of the loss of her aunt. Number 13 is Unsettled. This is a middle grade novel that follows Noura and her family as they move from Pakistan to Georgia. Noura stands out in her new school, but she decides to participate in swimming tryouts. She wants to become a star swimmer and athlete just like her brother. And this story is about how she gains the courage to stand up to bullies and fight for what she believes in and find her place. Number 14 is Dead Girls. So this takes place in the Harlem Renaissance in 1926 and follows Louise as she's working 2 jobs, but after a series of murders, one hits way too close to home. In fact, it hits right in front of her job, and she is forced to kind of take action and solve the cases in order to save herself. Number 15 is Fire with Fire. So this is about 2 sisters who were raised to be dragon slayers, and they reach a breaking point when one of them bonds with a dragon and the other kind of turns to sorcerers in order to save the sister. So this feels like it's going to be about families, bonds, and what it means to grow apart, which I'm super excited about. Number 16 is Living Beyond Borders, stories about growing up Mexican in America. I'm Mexican American, and I grew up Mexican in America, so that kind of immediately drew me to this book, to be honest. It is a mixed media collection of stories about being Mexican American, and I'm super excited for it. Number 17 is 1500 Miles from the Sun. So this is about Jules, and his world comes crashing down when he impulsively comes out on Twitter. And then Matt, a Twitter crush, kind of slides into his DMs, and the two start bonding. And the only problem through this is that they are 1,500 miles away from each other. Number 18 is The Taking of Jake Livingston. Again, I'm always talking about beautiful covers. This cover is stunning. I love it. So this is about Jake Livingston, who's one of the only Black kids at St. Clair Prep. And also, he can see dead people all of the time. When the ghost of a school shooter decides that he has plans in the afterlife, plans that include Jake, Jake has to put everything that he knows about ghosts and the afterlife to the test and find a way to survive. Number 19 is How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe. So when Moon's twin sister becomes a social media influencer, Moon kind of accepts her fate as a forgotten sister and accepts a job as a merch girl for a tour that her sister goes on. There she meets Santiago, who is her bunkmate and also happens to be like the hottest guy she's ever seen, and it's kind of about what happens after that. Number 20 is Wild Tongues Can't Be Tamed, 15 Voices from the Latinx Diaspora. This is a collection of stories that touch on subjects like immigration, sexuality, language, and kind of interrogate the different myths and stereotypes about this really rich, giant, diverse community. And it features authors like Elizabeth Acevedo, Cristina Ariola, Meg Medina, Marco Shiro, and more. Finally, number 21 is Squad. This is a graphic novel, and it's comped as Pretty Little Liars meets Teen Wolf, which were both pretty influential for me in my teen years, I'm not gonna lie. And this is described as a fast-paced, sharp, patriarchy smashing book. I totally butchered the pronunciation for patriarchy. So when the new girl is kind of invited to join the high school's most popular clique, she cannot believe her luck, and she cannot believe their secret either, which is that they're werewolves. They're popular mean girl werewolves, which immediately auto buy. Where is it? Let me read it now. Those are 21 books that I'm super excited for in this year. I know it's late March and it might be a little late for these type of lists, but I really wanted to share with y'all what I'm excited for. If you're excited for any books, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.